Sterling Seunarine. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did.
Okay, good. I know we just
Good on you, man. Fast learner.
thanks, bro. I know we just went over that and I realized like, oh shit, I never knew how to pronounce his last name. So okay, I'm glad I asked.
Guys, nobody does. So yeah, it's all good, man. You actually nailed it. So that's great.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time to join me, man. I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
I appreciate it, man. Likewise, when I saw you got the podcast going and you mentioned it, I'm like, man, that'd be cool. Hop on. So seeing a couple of your previous ones, you do a great job at it. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, bro. Means a lot to me coming from you. And yeah, no, you've always been like such a big supporter of mine over the last few months, like since we met, like liking all my posts and checking out like some of my episodes. Like your support and encouragement really means a lot to me.
Anytime, man. Yeah, fires me up.
Awesome. So yeah, man, like with previous episodes, I thought I'd start by sharing a little bit about like how we know each other.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, so for the listeners, like Sterling is we met at the F45 gym in Kingston, Ontario, Kingston downtown. Shout out.
Yeah, there you
Um,
go.
great place. Honestly, love it. Yeah, so I started going there in October. So I moved to Kingston in September, and then I started going to F45 Kingston downtown in October. And Sterling is a trainer there, and so yeah, like we met there and we just started hanging out and connecting over like fitness. And then I found out also Sterling is a reservist in the military, and so I'm also in the military, so we connected over that as well. He's in the infantry unit in Kingston, Princess Wales Own Regiment. Awesome group of guys there. And I used to be a reservist infantry soldier too in the 48th Highlanders in Toronto. So yeah, we have that connection too. So and yeah, since then, we've just been getting to know each other better over the last few months. I mean, he's helped me a lot with my fitness, with my form and technique. I always look forward to the classes that he teaches, and even we've done a couple classes together where you've been like a just like a participant like me. So that's been pretty cool too. And yeah, man, you've helped me so much like along my journey over these past few months. Like I feel like I've gotten a lot of good gains like physically and mentally from F45, and you've been a huge part of that. So and I just know that you're a really interesting and really great guy. And I was like right away, I was like, yeah, definitely got to have this guy on my podcast.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, no, it fires me up seeing you come in, man. Like you're one of our consistent 6 a.m.ers, which is a different freaking animal. I'm only in there a couple mornings a week. I'm like, that's good enough for me. I see David either on the Instagram stories when I'm coaching classes, like 6 a.m. on the dot, getting after it. So you're doing good, man. It's freaking awesome to see.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So yeah, let's move into just hearing a little bit about like who you are and what your story is because like I said, we've only known each other for a few months, but I know you are doing a lot of really different and really interesting things in your life. So I think it'd be really cool for the listeners to hear about like your journey and your timeline and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that. So I guess like starting off, like I'm from Hamilton originally. Grew up there, born and raised. Played a bunch of sports growing up, did my thing. Eventually decided I was going to go to Queens, do my undergrad there, decided to do biology. While I was there, I played on the Queens football team, did 5 years there, made my way up from a special teamer all the way up to being a defensive captain when I was there, as well as on our leadership council as well. And then during the off seasons, when I was playing football, switched over, did some wrestling, keep my cardio up, trying some new challenges. That was a whole different experience. Definitely challenged my body in ways I didn't even think possible. But that was a really cool time. And then finished off my undergrad, had a choice to make. I was considering to go back to Hamilton again to do my master's, but was blessed enough to get into a master's program at Queens in the entrepreneurship and innovation program out of Smith. And my thought process was I was done playing football, but I played a little bit of rugby in high school. I'm like, I wouldn't mind trying my skills at this next level. And it just so happened I reached out to the coach. And at the time he was actually transitioning out, we said, hey, come out and train with the boys. So I went out, trained with the Queens rugby team. They're super welcoming, like some of the best individuals I've ever met. Brought me in, trained me up, grinded the off season, and then was able to be a starter on the team my first year transitioning over. Made it all the way to nationals. Didn't get the gold, unfortunately, but it was a great experience nonetheless. And during that time was also doing my master's program. That came to a conclusion in the summer this past, and stayed there, played another season of rugby. And basically also during that time kind of did some other side quests. Like I ran a couple of my own businesses, started off with a clothing company, then did a landscaping company for 3 summers, also a candle company somehow, some way. As well. Did a bodybuilding show just cause obviously the reservist is in there, and then hodgepodge of other side quests with jobs. Like right now, obviously F45, it's one of the main classics, but currently doing emergency teaching as well. And then the reservist gig is rock and rolling now that like kind of done school for the first time in 7 years at university. So I just actually like working, but this is kind of like what I'm up to right now.
Awesome. Man, that is such a cool like background and like journey that you've taken through all those different activities and endeavors. Like, yeah, man, that's pretty cool. So you basically went from like 5 years undergrad straight into 2 years of masters. Like you didn't do a gap year or anything like that?
No, hit the ground running. Basically, yeah, it was a super blessed transition because like going into like business, I'll be candid with you, I was like one of the youngest individuals there. I think there's only one other person the same age as me. Typically, a lot of them have come in from working previously, but I was given the opportunity. It was one of the coolest programs I was part of. Like people worldwide were coming into it. Got to meet a lot of cool people. Honestly, the biggest thing that came out of it as well for me was I did my capstone project on a program that I actually run at F45 right now, which is the parent-child program. Basically, once a month, try to put out a parent-child workout, gives the kids an opportunity to work out with the parents, get the kids a little physical literacy early on in their life, and then yeah, basically stemmed from what I was writing up for my master's program, and then one of the profs actually comes out with his kids, which is fantastic to see.
Wow.
Kind of get it off the ground, which was awesome.
That's so cool, bro. I didn't I keep seeing those on Instagram. I mean, I don't go because I don't have kids, but
Yeah, you know.
but I would if I did, man. But yeah, I didn't know that you actually started that. I knew like you were behind that because I saw you always posting it, but I didn't know that you actually started that.
Yeah, like this is one thing I'll say about working at 45, especially underneath like Nick and Joe, is like I'll throw ideas at them and they're there to like basically help me out. And like they're amazing at the business side, amazing at like the community side, and they just want to see the people that they have like kind of like grow and develop. So toss the idea out to them because I've done like camps before. I like being around kids. And I thought it'd be a cool thing to do because that's how I got into like working out at a young age. Was like I remember my dad waking up, banging out push-ups next to the bed, type of thing. It was always ingrained with me and I just know the importance of it. And just being able to give that back to like the next generation kind of thing was cool. So I tossed the idea out to them. We refined it a little bit and then just started rock and rolling with it. So yeah, and they kind of give me free will on it. And I've been super blessed to as well have like Coach Ash, who's now down in Australia, teaching a
Mhm.
different demographic there. But like she's been super helpful too throughout the whole process. Like from the get-go, she's been my partner in crime with it. And like, yeah, it's been a really cool time seeing different faces come in, but having the same great impact with like everybody having that good connection and getting better physically, which is awesome.
That's incredible, bro. Yeah, no, I love that. And that, that was pretty clear to me like right away, like from the beginning, that, F45, the Kingston downtown and Kingston West locations, like it's not just like a gym, it really had that like community feel, like that tight-knit vibe. And yeah, you can tell, like you and I have talked about this offline, but like how Nick and Joe are really like hands-on, really passionate about what they do and create that really positive atmosphere. So and yeah, I see that in like all the other trainers too, like Ashley for sure. So like yeah, man, just the more I got into it, the more I was like that's part of the reason why I come so much. Like yeah, it's a great workout and we get a lot of good gains, but it's just that community atmosphere like gives you so much to look forward to. So yeah, man, and
100%.
it's awesome to see you like contributing to that like in such a cool way too, like and like the personal connection for you, right, with like how you when you were a kid you saw your dad working out and that really had a positive impact on you, and so trying to be more intentional about how to get like parents involved with fitness like with their kids as well. So like that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing to see for sure.
Yeah, okay. And so I think you touched on this a little bit about like firefighting, right? Because like how like you went to like you did some schools or some training for firefighting. And so is that where you're hoping to go next in terms of like what you want to do with your career?
Yeah, so Comic Five, so firefighting has always been kind of on my mind as a possibility. Just kind of aspects of the job I love, the freedom with regards to the schedule, like how you work like twice a week kind of thing, the opportunity to be involved in the community, all that jazz. So and obviously the physical component of the career as well. And there's obviously some other drawbacks from it as well. It's not an easy job and that, but I think that there's some personality traits that I would like to think I have that would allow me to be situated well in that position.
Hmm.
So it's always been on the docket. Decided at the end of last year, like a couple of my buddies have done the program in the past. It's called Festi. It's out of place in Mississauga, right next to the Toronto Pearson Airport. So they did it. They had really good things to say about it. I'm like, okay, I'll commit to it. So basically, went through the process, finished off the program. So now I have like my qualifications for firefighting, and then at the end of January, finished off my EMR course. So last thing I really got to do is kind of get my DZ license, and then my objective is at the end of this year, from like the conversations I've been having with like different firefighting chiefs and stuff like that, is like applications will start to open up. Now it's a really competitive field, so I mean, fingers crossed, things can hope it like work out. But my objective, obviously, is at least to like start bridging connections and be like, hey, where's there opportunities? What do I need to be doing in the meantime to set myself up best for success when the applications will open up? And with that in mind, by the end of this year, continue to reach out to people, see how the application process goes. If things don't work out, then I think I'll probably look to maybe relocate back to Hamilton because right now I've been in Kingston for the last little bit. Get closer to home and try to get on the volunteer force here, and then make adjustments there and after. But long term, if everything works out to plan, then firefighting will be the main objective, and then we'll see how we fit in the other puzzle pieces after that.
Awesome. Okay. And so with that, like, are you hoping to stay like in Kingston and do firefighting like in the city of Kingston?
It depends. Like for me, I think I would love to go back to Hamilton or at least somewhere nearby. Like that's where my family is and that. And I do be candid with you, man. I like being close to them and that. Like, case boy, one back home right now. Like when I get a free weekend, I'm usually bouncing back just to like take care of my dog, be around my parents. A lot of my close friends from back when I was in high school around like that Toronto GTA region.
Hmm.
With that being said, though, it's sometimes tough to cut like ties with Kingston. Man, I've been there for so long, built a lot of good connections. Like case in point, the F45 community is fantastic, right? Like meeting people like you, Nick and Joe, again, gave me the opportunity to do what I'm doing with the parent-child programs, and that's just like a small like ecosystem of individual. I know, like being there for 7 years, you build some pretty sound roots and stuff like that. But if I get in full time, there's a consideration of maybe like splitting the difference and then traveling and commuting to the station I get into. But if not, I wouldn't mind maybe going back to Hamilton. Just it's also familiar where I grew up. It's a gritty city, man. As much as sometimes people bash it, I like it. It's home. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's exciting, bro. And I guess like the like the good news there is like you have options, right? Like you're not like like forced to work in only one area. Like you're open to working in different areas. So I guess that only gives you more opportunities, right?
for sure. Sometimes it's a drawback, though. I'll be candid. That's something I definitely like do. So I struggle with is like I love having a lot on my plate, but sometimes I get like um, too many options on the plate, and then it's just overload. And I'm like, okay, where do I go? What do I do? This sounds great, but that sounds great. How do I have everything? And it's like something I'm trying to work on. It's like understand like it's nice to have like the whole cake and enjoy it all, but like the reality of it is like sometimes that's not possible. So like I'm working on different processes to like find different priorities, really working through value structure to align myself in a better regard than I do put myself in positions that at the end of the day I might have to cut something else off, but it's pushed me to where like I truly want to be or like something like that, right? So it's a work in progress. I'll be candid with you, but yeah,
Yeah, bro. No, I that's totally understandable, right? Like and I think that fits into like that fits in pretty well in terms of like what I know about you in terms of like all the things that you're doing. And yeah, it's totally understandable that like you're involved in a lot of really good things, like things that are aligned with like your personality and your values and your beliefs. So yeah, it's understandable where you get some value conflict or just some competing priorities and you're like, oh, these are all good things. Like what do I do? Like what do I focus on? So
yeah, 100%.
so that's kind of like a good segue into like what I wanted to ask you about next, which is like, like you're doing or like you have been doing over the last few years, like so many like different challenging things, like your bachelor's and master's degree at Queens, like your firefighter training, military reservist, F45 trainer, varsity athlete, emergency teaching. Oh, you also do like some bodybuilding, right? Like I
Yep.
remember you were saying you were at like bodybuilding competition like a couple months ago. So like and then you're like an entrepreneur. When you touched on that as well, you studied that in school. Like you have like a candle company and clothing company. So like, yeah, man, you're doing like so many awesome things. And like it boggles my mind like how you have time to like keep track of all these different things. So like, yeah, man, like I guess I'm just curious, where do you find like the time and energy and the discipline to do all those different things?
Yeah, man. Good question. Things like I'd say the biggest thing that just seems like there's a lot going on. They all have like different frequencies at different times. And basically at different points in my life, sometimes certain things are at a high. Like when I was like in season for like football or like rugby, those things were the main priority at the time. So like that was taking precedent over me like putting time into my like clothing company or candle company kind of thing like that, right? So with that, it's just kind of finding out what needs to be taken care of more at certain times. With that being said, though, the downfall is like, say, with the clothing company. The reason why you probably haven't heard me talk about it until right now is because I put it on the back burner for so long. And it's like, I understand that sometimes that that's what I'm trying to do better at is understanding maybe like I should just pull the plug on certain things and focus my attention on others. Cause I've had great conversations with some of my other buddies about that intentionality behind my time. It's like, as much as you like think that you have the time and the capacity to do so many things, which I have had the opportunity to, but the question is like, could I be doing the things that I do better, I guess,
Hmm.
as well? If I were to focus more time on certain things. With that being said though, like I do enjoy the variety and all that. So it's a juggling act when it comes to it, but the best way I find to balance it is like dialing things up at different times and all that, but then also sitting down and evaluating my like priority structure is something I've been trying to do better at and be like, okay, these are the things that I really want to focus on now. So let me dive more time into that to allow them to flourish to a different point and then continue to reiterate and seeing where like I find the biggest enjoyments for me where do I get my energy from and then kind of filter things through that. As well as the last thing I would say is like being prepared. That's the biggest thing I found across the board with a lot of things I do is for me to be successful, a lot of things I'm trying to achieve, being prepared, like setting my stuff up, like simple things. Like, okay, next day I know I'm gonna have a busy day. I got freaking training in the morning. I got in again. I got a whole day of things. How am I gonna set myself up tomorrow? If I wake up tomorrow and think I'm gonna attack the day, I'm already behind. Right? It's the day before that I'm prepared. I'm getting my like meals ready. I have all my like outfits ready to go. So it's like, okay, I come back to the house, for example, of like a larger scale thing. It's like sitting down, setting away blocks of time to like look at the month in advance. Be like, okay, what do I want to achieve from this month? Okay, these are the things that I want to achieve. How much time? I need to start getting my ducks in a row. I gotta start talking to people now because like sometimes I have ideas that I want to attack, but I started them into like get them into action a little too late, right? So it's trying to have that wherewithal to be like, yo, great, want to do these things? Let's get our ducks in a row now so that we can just be automatic and get after it going down range kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah,
Interesting. Okay, so like, yeah, man, it sounds like a big part of like your ability to balance all these competing priorities comes down to like just kind of riding like the ebbs and flows and the waves that come up like certain weeks or months, like certain activities will be busier. And then when you have a lull and some of those things, that gives you an opportunity to like, increase your involvement in other things. But at the end of the day, like underpinning all that is like a really strong sense of like preparation, in terms of your habits, your routines, like planning ahead, knowing what your days or weeks look like and getting ahead of that. So like when you wake up in the morning, like you said, you're getting after it and you're not thinking about like, oh shit, like what do I got going on today and what do I got to do then, like
yeah. So yeah,
okay, cool, man. So
but
now go ahead.
no, all right, yeah. You look like you have a question, so I'll let you rip it.
Yeah, sorry, no worries. I think there's just a bit of a lag in the video, so I wasn't sure if you were talking, but
Oh, sorry.
yeah, no worries. I'm new to this whole podcasting game, right? So just working through the little kinks and gremlins that come up here and there.
It's fair enough. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, man, like yeah, like I think it's just such an interesting journey that you're on, like, and like I definitely relate to like kind of where it sounds like where you're at, because like um like I think initially when we're at the beginning of a journey, it makes sense to go like really broad, right? And like try different things, explore different things, especially if like, I mean, for I'll speak for myself at least. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like for example, when I graduated university, like most of my life, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. It's only recently that I got a more clear direction. And so like I think if you're in that like exploratory phase, it almost makes sense to like branch out and try a lot of different things, like what you're doing. And then like through that, you kind of like learn by doing. You learn like what works and what doesn't, what you enjoy, what you don't, and you kind of gradually shift, which is like where I feel like where you're starting to do right now, like you where you get more intentional, and rather than focus like on doing a lot of different things, like you start to focus on getting good at like one thing, like a few specific things. So like I would say like I guess what has that process been like for you, and like kind of what lessons have you learned about yourself as you go through that experience?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think the biggest thing is trying to unpack the reason why. Um, yeah, trying to unpack the reason why, like I started to do like kind of things. I used to like there's trying a bunch of different things, seeing what like some of the reasons that motivated me to do so many things was I think I got all things like that. Like, wow, it's like so cool. So I got like really good reinforcement from it. And with that, it kind of like continued to be put in a spiral of like wanting to do more foundation from it, right? Which at the time, like looking back at it, it can be a dangerous thing to be fallen into because now I'm just chasing things for the wrong reason per se. I'm just doing things to do things to make it seem like I'm busy and get the like praise. But that's been something I've been trying to like get a better frame of mind on is one aspect. Two, there's probably a level of insecurity too, as well about by doing so many things, it provides me almost a safety net in not being great at one thing. Because in my world, it's like, say I put all my eggs in one basket. Say, for example, football. I did everything I could to be the best football player I could, and I ended up not being as good. You know what I'm saying? There's a part of me that'd be like, wow, like in my world, I'm like, oh, I'm a loser. I suck. Kind of thing like that, right? Because I put so much energy and effort to being this thing, and I'm not. But by doing so many things, it's almost like, how can you be so great at one thing? It's so many things, because right. But like as I like continue like refine, and I think faith has had a big impact on that as well for me, as reframing again like my intentionality behind doing things and understanding like the purpose behind it is important. Like the validation aspect, like understanding that it's not like people's validation that we're trying to it's like words, and having that understanding in the same individual underneath like God's eyes, and that's been a big change of mindset for sure. And then for the safety net aspect of like not like kind of like being enough in certain capacities, um, the way like I feel like faith has like helped me reframe like that mindset there is the same kind of thing. Just understand like yeah, in God's eyes, I am enough kind of thing, right? And as well, I look at it of like maybe like not necessarily like, need to be the best, and by being put in these environments, when I walked into the wrestling room, I would say I was like the best wrestler. I tried hard to be a good wrestler when I was there. But my main objective when I showed up in that room is like here's the same mindset I learned from like football and like help drive the boys to be the best team partner I could be. I'd be tired, but hey, you need to get your reps in. I'll be there to support you. Anyway, I can do to like help prepare you for your next bout kind of thing, right? And it was just like finding the way I could have my various impacts in that capacity, doing all the things I was doing.
Wow. That's like really meaningful, really meaningful, bro, and like really, really personal and vulnerable. Like I really resonate with what you shared about like purpose and intentionality. And yeah, I think that like there's a lot of people out there that can relate to what you said about like doing things. at least wholly or partially motivated by like insecurity and yeah, feeling like we're not enough like to be able to accomplish certain things. But so I think there are a lot of people out there that can relate to that. But I really like what you said about like approaching it with like a faith-based perspective and really understanding that purpose behind, why you're doing what you're doing. Like I think that's really grounding for a lot of people, whether it's like faith in religion or some form of God or, another form of like life philosophy. So that's actually a good segue into another thing I wanted to ask you about. And we talked a little bit about like religion just in passing, like in the gym, but I know like it's a big part of your life in terms of what you're involved with. It's even on your Instagram profile, like you say, like faith-based training, right? So like I kind of wanted to ask you about like, what role has like faith played in your journey and what does that mean to you, like faith-based training?
Yeah, 100%. I'd say like for me, like definitely faith helped to like change the way I saw a lot of things that I was doing. Case in point, like big things that I think that I sometimes struggle with is like ego, identity, um, as two main like markers. And faith has helped me out in that regard. Case in point, when it came for me, like first lifting, like I was like a bigger kid, I was fat, right? And case in point, started counting my calories in grade 7, macros in grade 9. Like I was almost an obsession when I was at that age, like caring about like how I looked. It was so much tied into it because like in grade 9, I looked a certain way because I did certain things. Like, I was super dialed in my eating. I was working out a lot. And the way I looked was the way a lot of people perceive me. And I remember even times like, man, like I was so obsessed with it. Like if I were to go with like say hang out with a girl that day, I'd make sure I was like super dialed in because like if she were to see me in a certain regard, like I was already put on this like I would say maybe like put on a pedestal for the way I looked, and I don't want like my interaction with her to like be like, oh, this guy isn't like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was such a driver for that. But the thing is like who am I if I don't have those things? And there's a time actually, a person I was seeing at the time, she asked me that question. And this is where like looking back and I'm like, oh, she should have pulled the plug then and there based off like the dynamic of our relationship. But like um she asked me like if you weren't able to like lift anymore, like what would you do? And I'm like, you say I had like a serious injury. And I was like joking, I'd probably say like I would kick the bucket. Cause like again, my whole identity, everything I was so tied up into like lifting who I was, performance and that. And looking back, I was joking in some capacity, but it's like, man, like I don't really know. Cause again, everything I was about lifting and fitness. And to that extent, it's like I put all my eggs into that basket and didn't have the knowledge at that time about like faith and how my identity is really rooted in him, how what I've been given is through him. And if it gets taken away, that I was making an idol out of my fitness, which is sometimes I think I still sometimes struggle with. Case in point, bodybuilding is an example of that I was really trying to fight like toe that line in that environment because again, very like self-image, very me sport, very subjective on how you look, right? So having like faith be a pillar of my identity, like and not my accomplishments or my failures in the same light, it's like I'm still the same individual underneath like God's eyes, and utilizing it as an ability to push me and motivate me more has been a big thing too. Is like working out now has been an opportunity for me to kind of reflect more on Christ, like say when I'm running and stuff like that. Like just thinking about like how blessed I am to like have this opportunity to do the things that I'm doing, how God has like given me the abilities to like perform the things that I'm able to perform at. As well, um, understand like the body that we're given is like a gift from God, and we are in like stewardship of it. Like we are bought at a
Mm,
price, and to think that um it's like if I were to give you a book, right? You'd probably take really good care of that book because you and give it back to me, right? Same type of that. Like God has given me this body to use, and it's my stewardship to like make sure like I keep it in good condition by eating healthy, by working out, by taking care of myself. And I believe that also like discipline like tracks across multiple boards. It's like I have see because I see it in the reverse, right? If I like slip up on my diet, it's easier for me to miss a workout. It's easier for me to fall into other like traps, right? Whereas when I'm super dialed in on my like eating, working out, and that it's easier for me to stay disciplined across other boards. And even like Paul like talks about it, right? Like he makes his body like he disciplines it, makes it like works, yeah, disciplines his body because then it allows him to be more disciplined in his faith. And you see like it translate over. It's like For me, sometimes you have like that wake up call, but like I spend so much time like even with like my sports and stuff like that, and like dedicate time to watch film. I dedicate time to like work out. I dedicate time to train. It's like, am I applying that same aspect and like training to like my spiritual life,
Mm,
right? So like I understand like, hey, like am I like getting in my Bible? Am I getting in my word? Am I being attentive, like showing up to church, being in the communities, right? Am I putting the same amount of effort and energy that I am into my training as I am into my faith? And understanding that at the end of the day, like even Paul talks about is like physical, like um being like physically fit and like that is like good, but your main value lies in your spiritual like strength and faith. And having like those two things like blend together, yeah, I think like it creates a strong armor for sure.
wow, man. I I don't even know what to say. Like, I think there is so much like wisdom in everything you just shared. Um, and I'm honestly blown away because like I shared earlier, like we haven't known each other for that long. I only just know a little bit. Like I feel like I'm just scraping the tip of the iceberg about like what faith means to you and like your perspective on faith. But like just seeing how like all those beliefs that you have and like how you've kind of integrated them into the activities that you're doing and made sense of like some of the challenges that you've had. Like um yeah, I think that's credible. Like there's so much you shared, right? About like worshiping like worldly idols, right? And um like yeah, like not, sort of like using one thing to like prop up our sense of self-worth, or like, like when we feel inadequate in one way, like trying to compensate for that in another way. Um Identity, like not attaching too much of our identity to like external like worldly things, like for you like lifting, like there's so much value there, I think, especially for people who are more religious and faithful, but I think for anyone in general, right, there's just a lot of really good like conventional wisdom there. Like, and for me, like I've been trying to get like more clear on, what like my faith means to me, and I guess like using it to make sense of like the challenges that I'm facing, right? And I think for me, like what's been showing up a lot is like how um the challenges that I'm facing now are kind of like they're like tests from God. Like God is testing me to see like what I'm capable of, what my resolve is, how strong I am, what my purpose is for doing something. And so like a lot of the times like that sucks. Honestly, like it sucks to go through and be tested and challenged in all these ways. But one thing that I recently realized that kind of hit me was like I just realized this, like it was like, maybe like God is not giving me what I want, but God is giving me what I need.
Yeah, 100%. That's a really good one, man. Like, yeah, I definitely say faith to me too has like helped me shape like suffering and that. And like one of the best ways I got it like kind of like shown to me was there's an individual like who I listen to, Tim Keller. He's an apologetic, anyways. He's passed away, but he's used to like teach in New York, and his like sermons are all on Spotify, so I'll like listen to them.
Mm,
But anyways, he was talking about a story like Joseph. Anyways, youngest brother was very like loved by his father, like, and he was getting like visions by God, and he's very arrogant with it. He's like, I'm the chosen one, da 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 da. His brothers took that as like, freaking man, this guy's pissing us off, and they got tired of hearing like, oh, our brother's so great, our brother's the chosen one, da da da. And they took it to the point where they're like gonna essentially kill their brother. They took his clothes off, threw him in the desert, threw him in a pit to die. But then some people came by and they're like, well, he's our brother, we can't really well kill him. So they sell him away as a slave. Egypt, he goes years there and eventually makes his way up and ends up being the individual who leads his people out of famine, right? So he goes through all these like trials and tribulations pretty much. And at the end of the day, he ends up being the individual who helps his people out and has his change of heart and that, right? And the question that goes to that is like, hey, why did God like make Joseph go through all this suffering? Like he was arrogant. If he continued along his ways, he would have been it would have been detrimental for him, right? He was arrogant. He wasn't a great guy. People didn't like him, and that. So the question is like, why didn't God just send down like an angel like he has for other people and basically tell Joseph, hey, the way you're going right now isn't going to be good. Change your ways, be better, all these things, right? Why did you have to go through all the suffering? Why did you have to get sold and basically try to be killed by your brothers? Why did you have to go through the hardship you did in prison when you're in Egypt? Why did you have to do this to get to the righteous point that you were in Egypt to lead your people out of famine? Why did it take all this process to get there? And the thing is, like, the way Tim Keller explained it was like, even with your, like, let's say parents, right? Sometimes you get told like, hey, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, right? How often are you sometimes like likely to like listen to them? Sometimes you don't need to be told what to do. Sometimes you need to be shown what to do, right? And like sometimes that's just a lesson that you get taught at that time, right? And case in point for Joseph, for him to have his changed ways, he didn't need to be told what he knew. He needed to be shown what to do. And he went through that suffering, those things. And it didn't make sense in that time, man. Imagine being thrown away by your brothers to die. Imagine being put away as a slave to like die. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense in the moment, but at the end of the day, it was what was needed for him to change, make the impact that he had, right? And like that's the biggest thing about like Christ, right? It's like it's been a big pivot for me. It's like that's why my verse is Proverbs 69. Basically, I'm gonna probably like butcher it, but like man will like man will plan his path, but God will guide his steps.
Mm,
And basically, it's like I will have my own ambition. I'll have my own like in my head, like things I want to do. But at the end of the day, God will put me along the path that He needs me to go. And
mm.
whether that be for better or for worse, like I don't know. And I won't understand until we get to a certain point. And it might not ever make sense to me, you know? And that's why I'm me and God's God. You know? Like I just don't have that wherewithal. And when I put that trust in him, that understand that there's something bigger than me and I can never compute. And that's a very humbling thing for me as well. And that's what helped me, I think, as well, aspects of my ego is understanding like how like weak and how like um yeah meek I actually am, or like how weak I am um in comparison to like Christ, right? And when you put that like confidence and understanding in him, like again in Proverbs, like don't lean on your own understanding, lean on his, right? Because he knows what you need to do and where you need to be. And that's helped me with a lot of different things. Like case in point, like the firefighting thing. One that I didn't touch on was I was trying to get on volunteer actually in Kingston this previous year, right? And it was a lot of hoops to jump through. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I freaking moved a couple times. It was a freaking hassle, and ended up not getting on. And the thing is, blew my mind because like low key, like I had a lot of people in my corner giving me like recommendations. I had, I thought like from what I've been hearing from people, I thought I was gonna be a shoe in for it, right? Then get on. And in some capacities, yeah, it sucked. But at the same time, it's like, then it wasn't meant to be at this time, right? This was a learning experience. Hey, I realized that I usually I do fairly well in regular interviews, but I didn't realize like how much they attribute to like certain answers and responses. So it was a learning experience from that. And also at the time, like if I had done the volunteer firefighting, from what I've heard other people, like the other things I was able to do with regards to the bodybuilding show, with regards to my infantry course, with regards to my back and playing rugby, it probably wouldn't have been able to be done because I would have to attribute more time there. And going through the other things I did, I had a good experience. I got to meet new people. I got to have different impact. You know what I'm saying? So as much as it sucked not being able to do the volunteer firefighting at the time, because I really had my like hopes and aspirations attributed to it. At the end of the day, like I was able to have the confidence to be like, okay, yeah, all right, pivot and let's go. What does God have in store for me now? And then continue along. And yeah,
Yeah. Wow. Again, man, I'm just taking in everything you said. Like that is so like, deep and profound. Like yeah, I love that about you. I love how like you're very strong in your faith and you've like integrated your beliefs into like what you're doing and the challenges that you're facing to try to like guide you in the right direction. So, and yeah, man, like there's a lot of what you said that resonates with me, like ego and suffering and like realizing like kind of how small we all are in a way, and how like we may think we know what we want, and we may think that we're in control, but a lot of that is just like an illusion or like surface level. Like I go to St. Mary's Cathedral in Kingston, and a couple of weeks ago the priest there was giving a homily, and like he said something that just like hit me like a bag of bricks on this topic. And what he said was um he was talking about the will of God, and he said he was talking about the prayer, the Our Father, and he said the most important line in the Our Father is "Thy will be done," because it's not about our will as human beings, as individuals. It's about the will of God, what He wants, and surrendering to that. And he followed that up by saying, When we suffer, it is an opportunity to embrace the will of God. And man, I think I started like crying right then and there because that's just like I felt like that was said like to me because like I was in that headspace where it's like, oh, like why is this happening to me? You know, why is my military training delayed by months? Why am I not making the gains that I want in the gym? Why did that girl reject me or whatever? Like all this thing, like why, right? And just recognizing like, hey, buddy, it's not about you. Like you gotta
Yeah,
understand there's like a bigger picture going on here. That's there's something that you may not understand. And that's what it means to have faith, right? Is to like surrender to that, and to believe, at least the way I look at it is like to believe in the not yet seen is like, you know what, God, like I don't understand using the limitations of, human intellect and knowledge to like, I don't understand why this is happening to me, but like I trust in you and I trust that you have a plan for me and that you have not abandoned me and that things are going to work out as and when they should.
100%. Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing too. It tests your faith, right? And that's the point. It's like for you to believe, like it'd be easy if God just showed himself and gave you everything you want, right? Like it makes it easy, but that's not what it's about, right? Like it's all about endurance. It's like running a race, man. It's like running a race. And like best one of the things, if you ever hear me in F45, I was gonna yell out, like it doesn't matter how you start, it's all about how you finish. It's because like one of the sermons I went to, and they were talking like basically in the sense of faith, he's like touching on like some like these historic great pastors and all that who did great work in their time, but they're like the end of like their time or like life and that like they like kind of like fell off. You know what I'm saying? From like had like some scandals and all that. And the reality is like the race isn't done until it's done. And
Mm,
you might have like like I wouldn't like my um way with faith. Like I grew up going to like church and that, but I definitely had my moments of falling away and all that jazz, right?
mhm, mhm,
Like so my like beginning is a little bit kind of up and down, rocky with it. But at the end of the day, like Christ always wants you to come back, right? It's like the prodigal son, like goes away, and then yet when he comes back, father comes running to him with open arms and rejoices that he comes home, right? Goes find 99 like sheep that's lost out of 99, right? Like God wants us to come home and he wants us to be with him and he wants, but even in workouts, man, I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter how you start, how you finish, right? You finish off that good workout. You get like you might come in groggy, tired, great, fantastic. You're still here, you're getting after it. Don't quit at the end, right? That's where it's gonna matter. That's when those gains are made. That's when the real like pressure's on. And that's where you gotta finish the job off. So yeah.
Love it. And you know what? To be honest, I actually don't remember you saying that. Maybe it's because towards the end of the workout, I feel like I'm gonna die, and I'm just like I'm not listening anywhere. I'm just like trying to survive. But like, okay, I'm gonna start to pay attention for that now and remember what you said. Like, not about how you start, it's
It
about how you.
usually comes out on cardio days. So on Thursdays, if you're if I'm on there on a Thursday morning, that's when it usually come out.
Okay. Well, yeah, like we were saying before we started the recording, right? Yesterday I was not doing too hot because like pretty early in class I smashed my shin on the box jump. And then I was just
Yeah, man.
survival
Freaking
mode after that. Oh man. Okay. So I'll keep an eye out for that. So we're getting I think we're getting towards, what feels like a kind of a natural like place to kind of pause the conversation for now. But before we head out, like I just want to try to like, you know, bring together all the things that you said because you said a lot of like incredible things today. And so like kind of like a common theme, how I like to wrap up my episodes with people is like for our listeners, like just gathering all the wisdom that's shared from the amazing guests here and into like, one kind of clear message to people listening. So like if you could kind of like tie together all the experiences you've had and lessons you've learned from your journey through all these different activities that you've done over the last few years, like, what would you say to someone who has maybe similar interests to you, whether it's entrepreneurship or fitness or like, public safety, firefighting, military, but they're having trouble getting started, or they're doubting themselves, they're not believing themselves. um what would you say to someone, like that? Maybe even like your younger self is like a good way to frame it with, based on everything you've learned.
yeah, that's such a good question. Really good way to finish off. I think if I were to look to like tell my like younger self is oftentimes I feel like people know what they need to do. in some capacities. They have an idea where they need to start, but they look at the full like task. It's like, okay, I want to be a firefighter, and it's like, okay, like I really want to do this, but like, where do I like start? But the thing is, and they get almost like averse from it because like they think like the task is like up here, but the reality is it starts with like simple things like frick, man. If you start just like opening the laptop, looking up fire, and then like going from there. So it's like breaking these like larger objectives into smaller tasks, and then incrementally like, you build the momentum. And once that you get that momentum going, it's easier to carry out and like execute on things. So if you have like I feel like interest in things and want to see what it's about, just get the ball rolling above all else, because then from there you can make your decisions. Because at the end of the day, too, like information is power, right? So if you have people that you know in certain fields, like reach out to try to get inside. Like case in point with me doing the firefighting thing is I'm like above all else right now, like applications aren't necessarily readily open, but I still have the opportunity to get in contact with like different chiefs, different people, and that. So then when the time comes, I'm prepared and ready to go with like have myself set up. But it starts with, which can seem like kind of a daunting task. I'm going to go talk to a chief, but the reality is like, what do I need to do to set myself up for that? Well, first off, I got to even fire an email. Like we're not even talking to chief yet. I just got to fire an email off to the admin team and see who I can talk to. From there, it's like, okay, we've talked to them. Now if actually responds to me, what a success. Now we can build on that. Okay, now we're setting up times with the chief. Now what do I need to do there? I'm going to be talking to an individual. So maybe I come in a little bit more prepared. Now I have a full like dossier of like questions I want to ask. So I'm not just like, oh, like, hi, I'm Sterling. And like, having like an idea of what I want to do, what do I want to achieve from this conversation. And then from there, be like, okay, really great for this conversation. Thank you. And now I have the information. Now I've taken positive steps. And now that I've like actually done this with one person, it's gonna be easier for the next person. It's gonna be easier for the next person. And it's just like at the end of the day, these first times seem daunting, but it's like start with a simple task, build the momentum, and then just keep on building up those reps. And once you have reps in the tank, it's easier to continue to freaking get after it because it's autopilot. You've been there, you've done that. It's not something new. So like, yeah.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah, like like I like what you said about how like it's easy for us to overthink things and get overwhelmed in the beginning, but it's just about like getting started and like taking those first actions and like you said, getting the reps in because then you start to build momentum and it's easier to have that endurance. Yeah, man, that resonates with me with this podcast, right? Because like I had no idea what I was doing when I started this, and like it's so easy for me to overthink things and get in my head and being like, I don't know this, that, or the other, and it's just like, you know what? Like I don't have to have it all figured out. Just get started. Start with the basics. Like start getting some reps in, actually the recording and putting out episodes like this, and
Yeah, man.
we'll just learn as we go. Like have fun with
That's
it.
exactly
Along the way.
100%, man. Everybody starts somewhere, right? The best time to plant a tree is like 10,000 years ago. Next best time is right now, right?
Yeah.
So like getting after, man, you're doing the thing, which is freaking awesome. Like you're rock and rolling. You're creating a set schedule. You got freaking podcasts coming out, man. I was excited to see where you could take this to, man. Like, you're doing good work.
Thank you so much, bro. It means a lot to me coming from you. So
Anytime.
yeah, Sterling Seunarine. Did I say that right?
Yeah, man.
I did. Okay, I'm two for two. Let's go. Let's keep it going, bro. Thank you so much. I have the utmost respect for and appreciation for you. I think you're fucking awesome. Honestly, like you're such a cool guy, and you're doing a lot of really great things and with a really strong purpose behind it. And you're an inspiration to me, no doubt to many other people. I'm really glad that our paths have crossed, and I hope we can continue to stay connected and support each other along our journeys. And I'm really excited to see all the amazing things you do in the future, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Likewise, bro. See you at 6 a.m. continually.
Oh, fuck, I can't wait.
Good time. Good time to wake up and get after it, man.
Let's
Now
do
you're doing
it.
good stuff, brother. It's impressive to watch your consistency in your group, bro. You're really it's cool to see like your commitment to growing yourself, but then also like obviously like putting this podcast together to like help other individuals and then like seeing you like interact with other individuals. Like I don't think I've seen somebody come in at 6 a.m. so consistently with a smile on. You know what I'm saying? Like usually people are like a little groggy and that was to be expected. 6 a.m. Freak, they probably just woke up and got here. And all the power to them. We're getting after early in the morning. But I feel like even on days where you don't feel like maybe having a smile, like you have the intentionality behind it to put that smile on, and then from there you still come in and crush the workout, man. So like it's awesome to see.
Thanks, bro. I can't tell you how much that means to me, and I'm glad to know you see me with a smile on face because yeah, sometimes I do come in pretty groggy still, like, but
Hey man, understandable.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
positivity is infectious, man. Like it's like easy, like especially even as a coach, man. Like I try to like come in there and get the energy going, but like having like it reciprocated, man, it makes it like worthwhile, right? So like it helps to build a solid environment. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, bro. Will do. And same to you. Um,
Appreciate it.
yeah, so
Well,
like last thing here, I know like you're pretty active on social media with like, talking about like what you're doing, especially like, like promoting your businesses that you got going on. I know you have like two different Instagram accounts. So like where should people go to like keep in touch with you and hear about like what you've been up to or and if they want to like get connected with you?
yeah. I'd say like the main ones would be like my fitness one was just like Sterling, my last name, which is Seunarine. And then the candle company is just if you're interested in candles, you got something special you want to buy candles for yourself. The silver candle, and then yeah, those are the two main ones I'd say.
Okay, cool. All right, so we'll definitely share those in the description for the episode and when we post about it on Instagram, so that way if people want to keep in touch with you and see all the cool things you're up to, they can follow you.
See, man, I look forward to it. I love it.
Awesome, bro. This has been a wonderful conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed it and I hope you did too.
I did, man. Yeah, hopefully there's another one in the future, man.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to do like another kind of check-in and however long from now and see where we're at and our understanding of how our understanding of our faith has like grown and evolved during that time.
Yeah, sounds great, man. Yeah, I appreciate you for having me out here.
Of course, bro. Anytime. All right. Um, have an awesome rest of your day and weekend, and we'll see you in the gym next week, bright and early.
Sounds good, brother. Look forward to it.
All right. Take care, bro.